Hello everyone, today we're going to do the second story in the Tone and Identity Stories portion of the unit. This one is going to be a free choice, which means there are two different stories. You just choose one of them, and then you complete the activity that goes with it. So let's go through together. All right. So in this, you're going to look at how particular lines of dialogue or events propel action, reveal aspects of character, or provoke decisions. You're going to analyze how the difference between point of view and perspective of the characters and the audience or reader create effects such as mood and tone. And you're supporting a claim with logical reasoning and relevant evidence using the same race format that we used last time with the introduction of a quote and the quotation. All right, so we're going to review our essential question. There'll be a small lesson on tone. You're going to choose your story, read with a focus on how dialogue, thoughts, and action reveal tone, and complete the graphic organizer, which I will show you at the end of this video. So the essential question, again, is how does a person's environment shape their identity? Okay, so we're going to watch this brief video and learn from teens over the course of 5 years their views on gender identity and what it means to them. So unfortunately, when I went to put this video in and record it, it came out really echoey. So here you'll have to pause it, or you can watch it afterwards and go back and watch this video. It is located in the Sway. So you can just go watch that on your own, or you can pull it up on the smartboard with the substitute and watch it as a group. So as you just saw in that video, there are several teens over the course of many years discussing gender identity, and sometimes their ideas were very different, 5 years at the beginning than they were at the end. But for the most part, these kids were all open in accepting themselves and each other for who they were. All right, so we have been reading about, in this unit, we started reading about modern immigrant communities and how they struggle to assimilate when they move into a new community. We read the story Am I Blue by Bruce Coville, who is about a student who is struggling to seek the identity that he was comfortable with. And wished that the entire world was on his side and, was able to see things the way that he saw things by seeing everyone as different shades of blue, depending on the LGBT spectrum, how far on that spectrum they were. So now we're going to look at some other stories, and we're going to keep in mind the tone, because that's what this overall unit is about. So sometimes the author's tone or attitude is expressed through a character in a story. In the next 2 days, I should say, we will be exploring how tone is shaped by the environment expressed through characters' actions, thoughts, and words. In the story that you choose, pay attention to how the narrator acts, thinks, speaks, and also note any changes in tone due to the shift in the environment of that character, the setting, the society, and other characters. So you're going to choose one of the 2 stories available, and think about identity as you are reading this. So how does the narrator feel at the start of the story, and why? And how do they feel after something changes within the story and their environment? So the first story that you have to choose from is Winnie and Tommy by Francesca Lia Block. So in Winnie and Tommy, they've been going out together for a year. They are great friends. During a weekend trip to San Francisco after high school graduation, Tommy comes out to Winnie. Winnie is heartbroken. Tommy leaves and stays away all night. When Tommy returns, Winnie is able to demonstrate to Tommy that she can shift her feelings to the kind of friendship Tommy really needs. Tommy will always love Winnie, he says, though he can only be her best friend, not her lover. This is a story of growing up, love, friendship, and loyalty. As you read this story, notice how Winnie's tone changes during her travels with Tommy. All right, so in this case, it'll be Winnie's tone or Winnie's changes that will change the tone of the story. All right. The other story is We Might As Well Be Strangers by M.E. Kerr. And in this story, Allison, a young student, comes out to her mother as gay. Her mother reacts with distress and hostility. Only Allison's grandmother, who had first-hand experience of prejudice during the Holocaust, accepts Allison for who she is. As you read, reflect on the relationship between Allison and her mother. How do you think Allison felt during her conversation with her mom? Do you think her mom will eventually accept her? What are the two contrasting tones in this story depending on whether she is talking to her mother or her grandmother? So the tone will be one way in the beginning when she talks to her mom, but will shift when she talks to her grandmother. Then you will do the same type of story that we did last time. So you can click on these links here. They are also in your assignment. And we're using the model from Am I Blue as the beginning point. So after Vince is attacked by Bruce, his tone of bitterness is revealed when he snaps angrily at Melvin. Don't call me honey. In this moment, he is especially sensitive to feminine nicknames because he has been bullied and called a fruit. All right, so if you remember that from the last one, and you may have had a different word or a different example, okay, but this is definitely one that you could use as well. All right, so for this one, we have in the short story, blank, whichever story you choose, by whomever it's by, characters' actions, thoughts, and dialogue in the story reveal a shift in tone. In the beginning, the narrator feels blank, but by the end of the story, their attitude about life has changed to blank. So these will be the two tones that you choose for the two boxes that you are going to write in. So, practice writing transitions to introduce quoted evidence and explanation. You're going to write a complete sentence that identifies the tone that ends in a colon. Add the quoted evidence after the colon to connect the transition. In the next box, explain your ideas. So you will write a transition that reveals the author's tone about their environment and introduces a quoted character, action, thought, or dialogue that reveals tone. All right, so in this, you're going to, just like we did in Am I Blue, talk about whoever the narrator is and talk about how their tone is one particular way in the beginning of the story and why. Okay, and then you're going to explain further. And then you will write a transition where you talk about how the environment changes that mood of the story. All right, so if you remember in the first one, we had the character in Am I Blue creating that sense of bitterness in the beginning, but by the end he was much more optimistic and outgoing because of the changes that the world around him went through. Okay, so you're going to do the same down here by saying how it changes and explaining a little bit more. And if you have not done the first assignment that we did last time, then you're going to want to do that because there are actual sentences where you fill in the blanks that will help you with this assignment. Okay, so you also have your word bank. So on the left you have your negative feelings, on the right you have your positive feelings, and you can click on any of those to get the definition. So now I'm going to go back to the assignment and show you where you can find all of these resources. All right, so when we go back to the assignment, if you want to go back into the Sway, you're just going to click on the link right here. And then you have the two different texts of the two different stories. We Might As Well Be Strangers, which was the second one I mentioned, and Winnie and Tommy was the first one. And then you have your Microsoft Word document here to fill in for your actual graphic organizer. All right, you will have 2 days to do this. Please ignore this due date up here. This assignment will be given today, Wednesday the 20th, but will not be due until tomorrow, Thursday the 21st. I will be back in class tomorrow, so if you are really, really stuck, I will be able to help you through. However, by the end of class today, you should hopefully be able to have one of these stories read. And remember, you can highlight, you can use information, you can mark them up in any way you would like to. That will help you. So I'm going to let you finish the rest of class today on your own. You will be free reading by yourselves quietly, and filling in any information on your graphic organizer that you need to, and you will be able to finish tomorrow by the end of class. If you have any questions, I will be back tomorrow and be able to walk you through it. Have a great day. Please get your work done.